back to Take It and Run. Today, we're going to stretch how you think about your business, but in the best way possible. We're going to sit down today with someone who refuses to get stuck in old ways. Every time I'm around Sean, I'm always impressed with how he's pushing innovation. He's always like, if he's at a table next to me, I'm kind of like leaning over and being like, wait, hold on, what's he saying? I always want to sit next to him at a conference because he has the best ideas. In fact, his name is Sean Ryan. We're going to have him introduce himself in a second, but Sean is a coach with me over at Tom Ferry. He also is a practicing real estate and team leader in Sarnia. Hopefully I didn't butcher that, Sarnia, Ontario, and just someone that I've always looked up to, and I'm really excited that he's here to help us start thinking in some really big ways.
Yeah, he really walks the talk. And I got to say, too, when I saw your name come across, Sean Ryan, I was like, that's like a pop star name from 2005. Like, that's such a name. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, if anybody's ever told you that, but it's like, that's the name that you want when you're famous.
He's a pop star in my mind. I'll give it.
There is a famous podcaster with the name Sean Ryan.
Oh, is there? Okay,
Seriously.
Well, and I found out from my Nexus interview, the U.S. Customs guy said, "You're not the Sean Ryan I was hoping for, but I'll take it." Then he went on. I guess there's like this big podcaster.
That's funny.
Well, I love it.
I got the right idea, but so we have you on here because a lot of agents are still wondering how to even start with AI, and Sean, he already knows so much. He's building workflows, automations, and systems that just cut hours out of his week of tasks and doing things that we're all stuck doing. So, and he's not even in that big of a market. It's, what'd you say, 72,000?
Yeah, Mark's about 115,000 people like our whole training area.
Yeah. So it makes his story and his process even more relatable to people out there that are listening.
Yeah. So here's the deal. We're going to jump in. But before we do, Sean, we kind of pumped you up because you know I'm a super fan. But why don't you help us know a little bit about you, your marketplace, just so that they can get some context of who they're talking to other than not the podcaster.
Awesome. Well, great intro, by the way. That really made me feel good. So Sean Ryan, I'm in Sarnia, Ontario. So we're in Canada. We're on the border of Michigan, so about an hour from Detroit and 2.5 hours from Toronto area. So I've been doing this now 20 years, selling real estate, and I've been a real estate coach for Tom Ferry for, I want to say 6 years now, 5 years. It all just blends in. And then we run a small team brokerage here in Sarnia as well.
Tell me about production. Like when you say a small team brokerage, what does that mean?
So we'll do about 100 million this year. There is 5 agents, and then my wife and I.
And average price point, I think you said something around 500,000, so it's pretty good.
505 as of this morning. So I was doing stats this morning, actually, and I think it was like 505, roughly.
I love it. And that's one thing that I can appreciate about you is you always know your numbers, not just because you're a coach, but because you do it inside of your business as well. So, okay, let's jump into our first topic for our listeners because I was recently in San Diego with Sean and we were just pitching ideas back and forth about some of the things that we're doing. And we were specifically talking about Comet. So if you're not familiar with Comet, in fact, Sean, why don't you tell them what Comet is, and then I'll have Kelsey ask you a question about how you're using Comet. But for our listeners, if they've never, not a Comet, but what is Comet for our listeners if they're not familiar with it?
So Comet is a browser by Perplexity. Think about your Google Chrome browser, but with AI that can automate, do the web browsing for you and searching, or do little tasks inside of your Google Chrome browser. But it's a total separate entity that operates and acts just like Google Chrome would, like you're all used to.
Yeah. Okay. Tee him up, Kelsey, because I'm so excited for him to get into this.
So what's a workflow that you've recently built within Comet Assistant that's made you think, like, I'm never going back to the old way of doing things?
Well, it's funny. For Comet, for the most part, we don't necessarily build a lot of different workflows. Essentially, is we look at what are some daunting tasks that we do over and over and over again in our business, and then I go, can Comet do it?
Mm-hmm.
And then the nice thing about Comet is you could sit there and watch it live, browsing the web and pressing the buttons, and you could see where it gets stuck and the wheels spin. Then you just get a bit more and more precise with the directions that you're giving it. Sometimes I'll actually use ChatGPT to write a prompt for Comet. Because I find ChatGPT's like writing those prompts as instruction works a lot better. But here's an easy one we're doing the other day. Matrix. A lot of people use Matrix for their MLS and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was having it input the listings.
Wait.
Yeah.
Kelsey's
Wait a second.
eyebrows just went up.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm personally invested in this.
So, like, what's it take you to input a listing?
What'd you say?
Do you input listings now to Matrix?
Yeah. So I'm the transaction coordinator as well.
So what's it take you to input a listing on Matrix?
Like, how long does it take?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Well, I do have my assistant fill in some of the tax data, but I mean, an hour at least.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include putting in photos and everything.
Yeah. So the photos you got to do yourself still. It's pretty easy, just drag and drop, right? But Matrix, you can take an old listing on Matrix because they have data on ours back to 92. And you literally just do like a realtor view PDF, upload that to Perplexity with the right instructions, and it will create a draft listing with all the info. Like, you have to go back and verify what's been updated and stuff like that, like room sizes, but it does most of the heavy lifting. But in like 10 minutes, it's done. Then like a quick 10-minute spot check, and then you're uploading photos.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like, that's okay. So he was telling me about this one the other day when I saw him in San Diego. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm having it input listings." I was like, "Okay, tell me more about that because that sounds amazing."
Yeah.
Right? Give us another example, because there was a different one that the last time that I met up with you, so the whatever event was, it could have been at Summit, I don't remember, but you had told me about how you're using it with LinkedIn, and then we can tease one that I'm working on and that we kind of chatted about before you came live. So I want to hear about more practical ways. I love what you said, daunting tasks like that, right? That we can create workflows. So what are some of the other ways that you're using Comet today to either do research? I think you said you were like on the airplane, super close to figuring out how to get it to do CMAs. But yeah, tell us more.
So LinkedIn, every day it goes on my LinkedIn and adds the max amount of people it'll allow me of realtors within a 3-hour driving distance in North America and Canada and the US. And then it also, some people, when you connect with them on LinkedIn, it makes you send a note to connect. So it has a note it sends and fills in their name. And it says like, "Hey, Kristi, just looking to connect with more people in the real estate industry in my area. Love to connect with you, Sean." And then it sends that note and it pre-does it. So every day, every week, my LinkedIn's maxed out of people, and it's just in the background adding LinkedIn people.
What has it done for you? Like, is that something, okay, so is this an enhancement or is this a replacement, right? So was that something that you or your assistant were doing, and now, Comet's assistant, Comet, is doing it for you? Or it was like, man, I always wanted to do this, but I never had the time?
Yeah, like I was doing it, the LinkedIn thing, for instance, because I'm a coach as well, and I'm on the border of the US, and I have a work visa to work in Canada, US. I can work in both countries. So I'm like, hey, I'd love to do more in-person trainings. So I started targeting real estate agents, broker owners within a 3-hour driving distance of me. And there's Toronto, Detroit, Ohio. So it just started circulating. I said, just always forgot it was like in the back burner. So now it just happens every day. So kind of just took away and did it. Another way we were doing it was emails. Responding to emails is great. Like I was using Fixer for a while. Fixer got a little confusing in my inbox sometimes. Have you used Fixer yet?
No, because I'm cheap.
Right. That's probably a problem I have, actually, is I sign up for things and I forget to cancel them. It's like probably the vein of my relationship my wife and I have with our credit card bill is for things Sean signs up for. But one better. But part of my now I put it in my schedule to cancel the day before I have to. But anyways,
Got it.
Using it just for simple email, which is great, of responding to all the email or unsubscribing to everything. Like getting rid of those emails that you don't open and stuff like that. So that was a really easy hack as well in there that we're using it for.
Okay. So Sean inspired me. So after my last, encounter with him and he had my wheels turning, I was like, I wonder if I could get Comet. And actually, I originally tried this in Atlas, which is ChatGPT's
Mhm.
assistant, if you will. And it fought with me too much. So I was like, I'm going to go see if Comet can do it. So I thought, I wonder if Comet could go into my friends list. So my first initial was, I just want you to go into my friends list. I want you to scroll my news feed. Okay. So scroll my news feed and ignore the commercials, ignore sponsored ads. Like, I just want you to, if I am friends with them, and I want you to tell me who I should reach out today based on scrolling my news feed for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That did not work really well. It got stuck and it kept recycling the same information. So I was like, okay, I got to figure out a different way. I was like, what if I just gave it my client list? So I gave it my client list because I've got that in an Excel. So I said, here's my client list. I want you to go find them on social media and tell me what their last post is. And it was like, oh, I can't do that. Privacy, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm just like working back and forth. I'm like, but I'm friends with them. And it's like, oh, you're friends with them. I'm like, yes. And so it's like, well, you got to be logged in. I'm like, I am logged in. So again, it was a little bit back and forth, but ultimately what I did was I had the social media links. So I did have to go through and match the person's name with their social media link, which as real estate agents, we should be doing this anyways, right? Like, this is just best practice. So once I gave it the list, name, and their social media profile, and I mixed a bunch of different profiles in there, like TikTok versus LinkedIn versus not YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, and then it went through and it did it. And so then I said, okay, how can we make this better? So it was like, okay, you should this was so cool, Sean. It gave me the suggestions and it updated my spreadsheet. So it added the field of if it was Instagram, if it was Facebook, if it was TikTok. So it added the social media field. And then it said, to make it better, I also want to include a field of ranking the client, like A, B, or C. So we know the priority of like how often you want me to check on that client, which was cool. And then it also updated my spreadsheet with their last posts and summarized like their last, I think, 5 posts. And then it gave me 2 optional comments to their post and an optional DM. And it was so smart, Sean. It even said, so like one of the people, their last post was February of 2025. And it said, rather than posting on their, like commenting on a post from February, why don't you send them a DM? And then it gave me options of the DM that I could send them because it picked up on that. So then I said, perfect. I want you to turn this into an SOP. And it did everything for me. Oh, it also saved in the SOP the prompt that I would give it when I wanted to do this task again. So it still has some bugs. So it's not something that I'm having it run like every Monday, because I've got other tasks that like every Monday I want you to search all of the Sarnia real estate market and send me the top 5 things that I can then use, and then blah, 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 blah. So I do have that one working. And that was inspired by your whole LinkedIn find the agents thing.
So first of all, send that to me, please. So yeah, Instagram is pretty cool too. So I find with Comet, sometimes it gives you the privacy thing. So what I do is I log into it, and then in the top bottom right corner, it has the assistant button.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give the prompt in there sometimes.
Oh,
if it gets privacy.
inside Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, if you log into Instagram within Perplexity,
Yep.
Comet, then the bottom
Yes.
right, like the assistant thing, I'll log into there. But to go on to Instagram, a couple of things we're doing on top right now is I was finding realtors again within a certain radius, and it was following them. The other thing we're using it for, like a recruiting tactic, was our brokerage account was finding any realtors in our market that posted in the last 48 hours and just liking their posts. So that was
Love
really
this.
so simple, right? But then I started thinking that we start chatting earlier about clients, right? Because we're still practicing and selling real estate. So I'm thinking now is a lot of my clients follow me on Instagram personally, and I should be following them back more. I do enough good job with that. But I thought, hey, what happens if, because I always preach to the clients or our coaching clients, is like every day you should be doing 5 comments on people's social media posts.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't, scroll through it all day. Just stop, comment, ask open-ended questions. So I'm like, ones if we took all of our client lists, like you were talking about, and then found all of our clients that have trained, like our clients in our sphere, and anyone that made a comment, or not a comment, but a post, gave us a list every day.
Yep.
So instead of us having to go through all of our clients, because you don't see most of their stuff on the feed anymore, right? It's all like suggestions and stuff. Then you can go on there and add personal comments to their posts and get the conversation going.
It was, I should have pulled it up as an example, but it was so cool. My friend Sue Yoakum had just run a marathon in St. George, Utah. So it's like she ran this marathon with her son Callum, and then it gave me 2 comments I could make, and if I would prefer to do it as a DM. And it was like, it was very Kristi, I would say. It was like very Kristi. The worst though was that my grandma she doesn't listen to the podcast, but my grandma had a birthday. And I missed my grandma's birthday. So it came, as it was going through my list, it was like, Donna just had a birthday. And I'm like, oh, that's my grandma. And so I felt really bad, but I immediately saw a practical use of like, put this in front of me, just put 5 people a day in front of me, and then I can still do the posting myself, but I don't get distracted by cats and bunnies and AI and all the things that we go into social media and then get sunk down a rabbit hole.
You go through that deep hole. You check the notification, the next thing you know, you're 30 minutes in. That way you can be a bit more like strategic. Okay, I'm going on these 5 people's profiles. I'm going to leave the comment, and then I'm getting out. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Like, because on social media, when you're trying to comment, like you get stuck in that like doom scroll. It's like, well, I'm looking for people's stuff. But then, like 15 cat videos later, and they're hilarious. But then you didn't get anything done.
It's kind of like Costco. Do you have Costco?
So we have
close to Detroit.
So we have Costco and Sam's Club. So I go to Sam's Club because it's 5 minutes away in Michigan, and I find it's not as busy. And I have a Costco 40 minutes down the road, but it's like just jammed. It's just bananas. Yeah. So I try to avoid that.
I'm sure it's similar with Sam's Club. Like my goal is to get out of Costco in like less than $500. Can I use Comet to get out of Costco without spending over $500?
Well, you could, like, my wife and I will create our grocery list sometimes on like a coupon clipping app or something. And then what we'll do is I'll throw the list into an AI and say categorize them by sections. And then it'll find me. Do you guys do price matching?
Mm-hmm. No, but I probably should.
So we have a thing called, a lot of the major grocery stores here price match.
Yeah.
So all the other places like meats and stuff like that. So like every time I go shop, I'll save like $50 from like just price matching, and it's like it's a daunting task. It's a pain in the butt. So AI though will go on and give them the list, and it'll find where it's cheaper at other stores and give you the list.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So like there it is, the list, and it organizes it by section. Even throws a little icon there for like fruits and vegetables and bread and a cow for dairy. Like it was fantastic.
He could be saving me so much money on my groceries, Kelsey. That's why I wanted to have him on the podcast.
If
it's an app called is what it's called here. Pardon? What's that?
Yeah.
I said if you only knew how much she spends in milk each week.
Stringing out saucers or what?
Well, we still have 5 kids at home, so it's like 5 gallons of milk a week.
Well, I have 3 kids. We go through liters of milk. Our milk comes in jugs, but we also get it in bags.
Right.
I love it. Okay, let's get back on. Let's get back.
Sorry. We're getting off the rails here. Okay.
Kelsey, you've got the next question.
Okay, so just to kind of wrap up the whole comment section is kind of like a take it and run moment for our listeners. If an agent had 10 minutes and wanted to set up one workflow that changes their week, what would it be?
I would start with email, helping you organize your inbox. It's easy. It's really easy to put in. And email is such a time suck. It's that stranger's to-do list essentially, right? So it just helps you get back that time right away. It's the easiest one to start with.
What are your categories for sorting your email? Are you talking like by escrow or like project? How do you do that?
We don't have escrow here in Canada, but I'll tell it to go on and just write me replies for all my emails that I haven't answered to.
Oh.
And then I'll put them all in traps.
Wow.
Unsubscribe from any regular emails I get and delete them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As an
Yeah,
organization,
absolutely.
is there any emails I didn't answer that are old? And it'll give you a list of all of them.
Yeah.
So one thing I
Okay.
tell my clients all the time is unsubscribe to everything. Stop letting emails, because they just steal your time all day and you get time suck. So that'd be an easy way to start. And then the next thing would be, if you do it all the time, try it in there.
Mm.
Okay.
Just try it. Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So you've always seemed to me very intentional about your tech stack. If you had a framework, like how do you decide, other than I just learned that you subscribe for things and forget, but how do you decide which tools stay and which ones get cut?
So I think we look at the manual process that it takes away. For instance, like I think too many people get caught up in adding things just because it was cool or flashy. Do you know what I mean? Like they'll see it on a webinar, podcast, and but they'll never do anything with it, or they get overwhelmed and never get into it. So I start with manual processes in my business. Like I look at my marketing person or this person or that, and I say, what's something that you guys do all the time, over and over and over again? I go, okay, is there software that we can fix that and cut it down by 20%? Because you have to justify the cost, right? If I can still do it for the same price manual, and like the software is a few $100s a month versus $30 a month, is there a return on that investment? So we don't want it just for the sake of doing it. Then the next one I find is we have too many different softwares. And some people are like, well, this one just does it a little bit better, or this one does it a little bit better. I'm like, nobody cares. Do you know what I mean? Like, as long as it does it good enough, it's good enough. Like, it doesn't need to be that much better. Like, the consumer doesn't care. They don't know. So again, looking at what softwares do many different things is where I start.
So it seems like you've kind of already have this good head on your shoulders to avoid that shiny object syndrome in the tech world. Things are changing every month, right? Have you always been that way, or do you have any kind of like, oh, we tried this and it tanked kind of
It
failure
got under
story?
like as my accounting disciplines get better is where I really noticed. I'm like, I spent time on computer programs last year. So I think is when I started doing like monthly P&Ls
Yes.
for my companies, and I was like, okay, that's ridiculous. Or I can't believe I'm paying for that still. So what I did one time was, this is the best way to get this under track, because people have all these subscriptions and they don't have time to go in and cancel them and stuff. I go, just cancel your credit card, get a new one, and make everyone reapply for your business.
That's what
Make the
Meryl
cut,
does.
right? Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like the easy way out, but like they'll stop working. They'll send you a letter, unless it's not going to affect your credit. And then just go in, do I really need that subscription? And every year I audit all the tech we're using, all the things we're doing, and what can I get rid of? So look for
That's perfect for this episode because it's the time of year.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, 100%. My wife sends me screenshots like, why are we using this? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't even know what it is. Okay, so this is something else that I've really admired about you. You don't seem afraid to fail, right? Like, because again, for as long as I've known you as a coach and as just a peer, like you're always cutting edge, you're always trying things, you're always kind of pushing the boundaries. So, like, how do you develop that mindset of I tried this and it failed? Like, how do you do, like, you're fearless. You just do it.
I thrive on rejection a little bit. I guess it's just from being a realtor for so long. It's how I got my wife to go out with me. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I think people overcomplicate decisions sometimes. And, is it a one-way decision or a two-way decision? Like cutting off a limb is a one-way decision. But most things we do in our life we can reverse it. Like, it's not for life. Like, I'm not going to get tattooed on me. Well, even then you can remove it. But I just look at it like, what's the worst case scenario? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Who cares? Just delete it or move on or try something different. So I'm all about just jump off the cliff, figure it out as I go and try it. That's the best way, I think, with AI even, is you got to play with it a little bit every day.
Yeah.
And then start trying. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah. I need that. I do need that actually tattooed on me.
What's the worst that
She's
can happen?
she's the overthinker.
Yeah. And then overthinking that overthinking. So let's shift into our second segment, which is like which is the human side of things. We talk through the tools. We know that tech helps us, but how you think and how you operate is what makes your business stable during any kind of market, right? We were talking earlier that we've got you and Kristi both have coaching clients in very different markets. And Sean, you coach a lot of agents. So can you talk about the habits and mindsets that keep somebody steady when everything around them feels uncertain? Like, what do you see? I guess more specifically, please answer. What do you see top agents doing consistently, even when the market is unpredictable?
I think the first thing is just showing up and doing those same things every day, even though you're not getting results. Maybe you're getting watered down results. And I think the big thing is just saying no to things. Do you know what I mean? Like anything is just people, activities, like when you say yes to one thing, you say no to something else. And usually what you say no to is something that you should be doing in your business on a daily basis that isn't fun.
True.
Right? It's always like, I don't want to do that. I got to go do this instead. I'll get to it tomorrow though. And I just keep moving it over. So like, I think for myself is I get up every morning at about 5:15. I go to bed at 10. And I think Kristi, that's like one of the biggest habits we have to break with our coaching clients sometimes is going to bed at a decent time and waking up at a decent time and having good sleep. Like I always tell, especially my coaching clients that are married with kids, I'm like, you're married with kids, nothing good's happening after 10 p.m. Go to bed. Right? Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, just go to bed. You don't need to watch that Netflix show. Like, it's not going to do anything for you, and you're going to be tired the next day. So, I think just showing up and putting it in your calendar and being very intentional with your day of what gets your time.
So when you say show up, like let's give them, if I was coming into your schedule, this week and I show up and I'm like, Coach Sean, I've got one pending and then nothing else happening. What would be the first 3 things you'd have me double down on to get business right away?
So I think the first thing I have one here is first thing I do is have them do a time audit.
Ooh, yes.
How are you
Is that
spending
the Dan Martell? Is that the Dan Martell time audit?
No,
Or
this
is
isn't
that
the
your
Dan one, but I have that there somewhere. His is a bit more intense. This is very like simplified version. But I love Dan's stuff. What are you doing with your time? I have like this time of year, most of my clients are doing time audits, and then their staffs are doing time audits too to see kind of what things are doing. But like, where are you spending your time and where are you wasting it? Most of the time, it's on stupid stuff and non-productive stuff, and then we fix it.
Okay. So first thing, time audit. What's next?
Yeah. Then we figure out, okay, what do you have budgets for? What's your money like? What can we delegate out? What can we automate out? That's one of the next things we look at. And then we look at the time that you do have left. What are you spending it on? Are you making your calls? Conversations are so important because all these people I'm going to post on social and clients are just going to come to me. I'm like, no. Once they come to you, you still have to call and follow up with them. Like, not too many people call and say, I want to buy this now. I want to buy this now. Let's go. I want to buy this one. Like, you got to still follow up even after they come in off a YouTube lead or Instagram or something like that. So look at that process as well and make sure that they have scheduled follow-up time. And the big one is everything before noon.
Ooh, okay.
And I always tell this to my agents on our team too. I'm like, if you can do like your things that you do every day, like your calls and your social media posting and everything, and have it all done by noon, take the rest of the day off. Who cares? But just don't book any showings or appointments till after lunch. Because once you go on one showing, you're screwed for the day.
You'll never get to the stuff that you're like, oh, the biggest lie I tell myself is I'll make calls at 3.
Oh, you've had kids. A, one of them are coming home sick or something. B, there's an activity to go to. You got to get dinner ready. You got to get the activity ready. Like, it's just afternoon, you're fried. I find like afternoons are a great time for showings and appointments and be out there and be like, ooh, look at the house and going on listing appointments. But all that like tactical stuff to move your business forward needs to be done before noon.
Agreed.
What I do with them.
Well, it makes me think of too the decision fatigue. I don't remember who we learned that from, but it was probably from a summit, like 8 years ago. But decision fatigue, once I learned that, that's changed the way that I time block my days and my weeks. If I know that I'm going to be working through a project that's going to require me to think on my feet and to think things through, I'm not going to schedule that after like noon.
Yeah.
Or just in the morning time, because that's when I have more decision calories to burn than versus afternoon. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Also,
So
Tuesday. Oh, sorry, what?
no, you go for it.
Decision fatigue. Like Tuesday, I do most of my coaching calls. I have like 13 Zoom calls.
Mhm.
I'm not doing anything on Tuesdays after I'm done that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll read, watch something, but I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. Kristi and I feel that when we try to do some brainstorming on Fridays, it's like she's brain dead by 11
Tacos and margarita time,
11
not.
a.m. Yeah. It's like, if we're gonna do creative thinking, we need some support in that creative thinking.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's talk about agents losing momentum, because that's something that everybody experiences. While you're coaching, where do you see agents losing momentum the fastest, and how do you help them correct it?
So I think the first thing is overwhelm. Just stagnation from overwhelm of so many things being thrown out. Like there's so much information out there, this webinar, this. So I think that's the big one, is I'm trying to do too many things and not get anything done. So I'll have some clients, we call them webaholics, essentially. So we say, you will not learn or watch any more webinars for the next month, because you still have this whole list of stuff you got to do still. Like literally, I have one. We put her hand up and made her do that a few times, and we laugh about it. It's like an AA meeting of education. I'm like, okay,
So
just
funny.
no more learning and implement. So that's the one. I think just getting defeated. Like I think there's a lot of, I have a couple agents on my team, and I call them COVID babies, because they got into business when it was like bananas, and you just buy a house and someone buy a house. So I'm like, it's a hard business. Like you got to put the reps in. Like you got to show up every day. You got to do it, and because there's 100 other agents down the street that want that same listing, and they're going to do it for less. They're going to do it for some crazy terms, just so they can get their sign on the lawn, do it for free. You got to show up every day and just be better. If not, go get a job somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I want to start talking about marketing and like future-proofing marketing a little bit, because I've always been impressed with you staying ahead of the curve and trying new things. So, kind of as a take it and run moment, what's a mindset shift that you think agents should embrace to stay relevant in 2026 and through the next 2-3 years with how everything's moving? Like, how do they stay relevant?
I think first, if you're not doing video, do video. Nobody cares what you look like on the video.
It's
No
just
one
your face.
They're too worried about what other people are thinking about them. So they're not thinking about you. That's the one. And then I think that the next one is, don't try to make everything a big production. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can spend $20,000 on a big production, Kristi, but I can outdo you with $100 budget.
And
Because I can
consistency.
spend $100 and be consistent. Do you know what I mean? Showing up every day over and over and over and over again. It could be like the crappiest content in the world.
But I'm a luxury agent, Sean. But I'm a luxury agent.
And I would just say, who cares?
Okay, so just to give some context for that comment, because we didn't discuss this ahead of time, but I am totally with you. Right? I take Tom's mantra that my crappy video will outperform your non-existing video. And what I just heard Coach Sean say is that take $100 budget, create as many videos as possible rather than throwing a bunch of money into one production video. And where I see agents do this, they're like, but it has to be grandiose because I'm luxury. And if I don't have it, it's not on brand.
Like for your listing video, yeah. But your day-to-day content, no. Like when you're selling the product, yeah. But it's like, I have a couple of agents that are in like bigger markets. They're selling like million, $1 million homes, bigger homes. And it's the biggest thing I get through. I'm like, how about just start documenting some of your day and who you are as a person, so you can attract like your avatar of who would work with you. Because yeah, you might piss off a bunch of people, but who cares? You don't want to work
You
with
don't
them
want to
anyway.
work with them?
Work
Yep.
with, I always say politics is the best way to, like, you don't think political leaders. So, but like, they have such polarizing views, most politicians, right? But they're only trying to get, like, what's the population? Like 50% of the population vote at the most, 40%. So they're only trying to get 20% of the population that votes and a small percentage of them to actually vote for them to get elected. So they're doing that on a national scale. You're just trying to do that in your little town, your little city. So like, you only need a small percentage of the people to relate with you. Like if you try to make it all fancy and relate to everybody and be this big production, you're not going to get anybody.
Yeah.
And you'll do less, right? So I kind of take Gary Vee's approach on that. Like, find something that you can do and do a lot of it and do it consistently. Like if you can't afford the big production of video, then scale it back to something that you can do and you can live with, that you're not going to be embarrassed about, and do a lot of it and make sure it's across every platform.
Yeah, 100%. Like we live in this age where everyone has one of these where you can just walk around and film. Like we're so lucky to be able just to get out there and put out content wherever, clip stories and this or that or videos. Like I remember when I first started doing video, geez, it was like 15 years ago. I did my first video, and it was so bad. It's literally a drinking game for some people. It was horrible.
Is it like how often you say or something like that?
Or beautiful. Look at this.
I love it.
It was a brown suit from Sears and a red tie. It was interesting, but it got me started. It was bad. So the best thing I learned too is don't watch your videos. Like we're putting out, I don't know, probably about 25, no, 20, probably 20 to 25 blogs a month we put out with video.
Yeah, that's what I said. You're definitely on top of it.
But it was to stay on top.
Yeah, let's get deeper into this. So things are changing quickly and buyers are finding new ways to find agents. Okay, you've been ahead of the curve, especially with AI, search, and local authority. Walk us through where you see marketing going and what agents should shift toward right now. Like how would you explain the shift from SEO to AEO, new world where AI recommends agents?
I think in the end, it hasn't really changed a whole lot. Like the whole process, it's just where you put it's changed a little bit. And I think okay, Google Business, very relevant. Will it still be relevant? Most likely it'll tie in with Google's AI and be very relevant still. But I think, the first thing I'd be looking at is going on AI and saying, best realtor in blank city. And then look at all the citations it gives you. And then go sign up on all those sites. Like, for instance, my coaching clients, I have them do that. We'll usually find a list of like 10 to 15 referral sites, like Rank My Agent, stuff like that. Go put a profile on all those. Easy way to start and be relevant. So at least you're showing up in the citations and stuff like that. And I think you have to do more now. Like you have to be more consistent with putting your flow out there and having more content, like blogging. So important. Again, I think a year ago we started the 3 blogs a week with video. And I'm noticing now out of like a lot of the citations in my area, I'm popping up like 2 to 3 times for 10 citations.
Yeah, you're building such strong local authority. Okay, let's get tactical. So you mentioned Google Business, and I've mentioned the fact that if you need to go check out his Google Business profile because it's amazing. So we'll make sure it's in the show notes. You mentioned Google Business, you mentioned blogging. And so now I'm curious, like a lot of agents are already going to shut down. They're going to be like, wait, what? I don't even have an assistant. And now you're telling me I got to do video and I got a blog and they mentioned Google Business and all of this AI and I need to be discovered. So like, what's your main tool that you're using or main 2 tools, because it might be across, like, again, I go from Perplexity to ChatGPT. They're both large language models, so I'm using them, but you know what I mean? Like, how do you make it easy for your clients, or how did you make it easy for yourself to go and start doing 3 blogs with video every single week?
Well, again, I have a whole staff that puts it all on for me now and puts on teleprompter and just show up and read it. But I would start with Perplexity and just ask it a question about real estate. and then it will give you the next 5 titles. Because you know
Mm.
how like at the bottom it says you should also ask this, and then the conversation gets going. That's an easy way for very little tech knowledge, very little without getting into the weeds of going to answer the public and downloading things and creating things, that I would get started on doing content. And then I'd pick my phone up and start recording it. I'd use the teleprompter app on my phone and just post it, no editing. Like
Okay.
I did a market update the other day. The stats weren't in when my videographer was here. He was here filming like 20 something videos for the month, and the stats weren't in yet, so I couldn't do the video. I'm like, you know what? I'll just film it tomorrow. So literally, I just did it on this webcam right here. Didn't edit it once. Went into Gemini, created a thumbnail, and I had the whole thing up in like 10 minutes from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I find that AI makes it like there's no excuse. Like, again, I don't know how I ended up on a podcast with 2 Google phone androids, but
Android?
she is.
I have a Google phone. Yeah. No.
You know what? I don't get all these Apple people crapping on our Android phones, but
And you know what?
afraid of
I don't even dignify it with a rebuttal.
Well, I'll give you the best
So-
rebuttal ever here. On my Android phone, I can schedule text messages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, eat that
We
apple.
can do that now.
Oh, now, like
Now,
welcome to
yeah.
2025, and you can also organize your text messages in folders like in your email.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
That's
to name a few.
I tell you, Google has some pretty cool stuff, and Apple needs to get their AI in order. But that being said,
Apple needs to get a lot in order. Like, just as a sidebar, I was trying to watch Ted Lasso with my boyfriend the other day, and we were just trying to cast it from my phone to his Chromecast, and it wouldn't work because Apple won't let you cast to a non-Apple device. And I was like blown away, and I still hacked it because I've got a cool phone that way. But I was just like, Apple really does not play well with others. And
No.
what I was trying to say is pick up your phone and make a video.
Yeah, 100%. Whether it's an Apple or an Android or a flip phone, just start filming. And I'd say start with blogging actually, and then start adding videos to the blogs. That's a great way to delete. Because I think if you're blogging at least and not doing the video, at least you'll be showing up in some citations and be relevant and search a bit more. And then maybe add the video as the next layer. Like I think it's about building the habits of consistency of doing things. Do you know what I mean? Like I think if you say do a blog and a video, I post it everywhere, but
yeah. So we've talked a lot about what agents should be doing. What's something you see agents doing in marketing that they should stop doing next year?
So this is one I get come up quite often, and I think it's doing a lot of. It's not my thing, but the dancing and stuff. I don't know, like to each their own. Like I go through this with my coaching clients all the time, and they're like, "I'm posting on social all the time. Like, are you getting referrals or any of your clients recommend you?" Like, no, nobody. I'm like, because they think you're an idiot.
We're gonna offend some people, and I'm okay with it. I am not pro dancing and twerking on countertops in social media content. I'm not.
And stop doing trends from other realtors because it's for the realtors, not people that are buying houses. That's the big one I said. But all the other realtors did. I'm like, yeah, but they're not selling houses either. So I think that's the big one is stop doing trends for realtors. Because you're not
advice.
realtors. Just figure out what the public wants, talk to them, be you, be genuine, and who cares if you offend some people.
I love that. Yeah. Or go work for Broke Agent Media, and then you can do all of that you want.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it drives me bananas. Yeah, anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, so to wrap up, let's talk about leadership. You work with agents at all levels, and you've seen patterns that show up again and again and again and again. So, Sean, let's get into what it looks like to lead yourself and others in a time where the tools keep changing and expectations are rising. So the question is, as a coach, what are the biggest patterns and moments of resistance that you come across in agents right now?
I think adapting to the tools and the change and saying, but I've done it this way for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think the biggest one was like coming out of the COVID, the BC. I call it BC now. It's not biblical. It's also COVID. It's before COVID. Uh, and I go, well, this worked all the time before. And I go, yeah, it's because you're doing the same thing. The market's different. So I think just being open to the change, the agents on the team, trying new things, like we talked about earlier, just being open, give it a try. What do you have to lose?
I like that. So, okay, let me ask you, if you're willing to share this, what system do you have for staying accountable? I mentioned you've got brokerage, team, you've got family, you've got production, you've got coaching. I'm sure you have other things that you're involved in as well. So, what habits and routines do you consider non-negotiable? How do you stay put together?
I listen to my wife.
Great answer.
I think she watches this later. No, I really put a system around me of people that I hire that just get stuff done. Like, here's the biggest thing is when I stop micromanaging people and realizing that they're not going to do it the same way I'm going to. Like, done's better than perfect. Like, just get it out there, get done. Don't show it to me. If it's under a certain amount of money, don't even ask me permission. Just go do it. That was a big one as well. And just protecting my time, I guess, saying no to things. Putting it in my schedule. I have Fridays off, for instance, and I take 95, probably 98% of Fridays off for the last like 3-4 years.
And what has that done for you?
Oh, huge freedom. I like Fridays off because my kids are in school, so it's an actual day off. Because on the weekend, you have Friday, Saturday, I'm just driving around. You're now just work for your kids. You're a chauffeur, right? And so Friday's been off, but it was really good for my well-being. I think for my mental, just to get out of the office and know that. But it really expanded my network. So on Fridays, I'll play pickleball or I'll go play squash. Sometimes double headers, I'll do both. Sometimes I'll play hockey as well. Sometimes, my body reminds me I'm not 20 on a Saturday sometimes. But I get these chances to go and have conversations with people and expand my sphere. Like the amount of business I've done from just playing sports on Fridays in the last couple of years is huge. But I had to put in my schedule. I had to train my staff to not bug me unless the place is burning down. That was the hardest one.
It's interesting because you've said it twice now, so I'm going to say it a third time. You said saying no to things.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't pick that up, listeners, like he is okay saying no to things because when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So be intentional about the things that you say yes to.
Mm-hmm.
I read it in a book I do a lot of reading. Dan Sullivan. It was one of his books.
I love his books.
He was talking about a charity donation, and someone came to him and said, "Hey, do you want to donate money to save the children of the world?" And he's like, "No, I appreciate what you're doing, but it's not my thing. I'm butchering this." But to be able to say no to something like that and be clear on why you're saying no, saying like, "Hey, I think it's great what you're doing. I have my own charity stuff I'm doing. I can't do this one, sorry." Even though normally, especially as realtors, we'd be so guilty just to hand that money over. But once did they buy a house one day? And they remember you as the person that didn't donate to save the children. Do you know what I mean? So that was like that really kicked on me. And I'm like, wow, you can do that for that. So I got really clear on saying no to donations, saying no to time, clients that aren't realistic, agents on my team, coaching clients, like just my 18-year-old daughter, I always tell her JOMO. You know what JOMO is? Joy of missing out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my 18-year-old daughter, I always try to instill her in that. I'm like, you're 18. None of this is going to matter in a couple of years. Like, it's okay not to do everything.
I love that. So for our last question here, if you could tell people, if you're a solo agent, what should they take on in 2026 to master? And if they're a team leader, what should they delegate for their team to learn and master? And can you give us some examples?
Yeah, so I think from a single agent standpoint, I'd really master getting your name out there, like being consistent with some marketing to help build that up in a way that's skip the production and stuff. Just get out there, start filming, start blogging, just get consistent with putting your content and your name out there and, build up those reviews and stuff on all the different sites as well as a single agent. I think as a team leader, it would be to look at your strengths of what brings in the money and what you enjoy doing. Like what's your highest, best use? And then for what you can automate and delegate out for the rest of it. And then I'd say also something I struggle with too is be a better listener to your team members and the people around you. I think I was always like, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. And I've been much more better of like, let's talk about this and why is it not working? Let's have some reflection on where you're going. And that was a big change for me in my leaderships.
I love that. I appreciate you being on here so much. You there was so first of all, I don't know that I've laughed harder on a podcast, which was super fun, but you just gave so many actionable items and strategies. If people want to know more about you, they want to know like where to send a referral, how to get to know you, like where should they find you?
So my Instagram handle's there at Buying with Ryan. Great way to reach out to me. Send me a DM. Yeah, it's probably the best way on Instagram.
Buying with Ryan. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for not saying no to us.
Yes.
So, you know what the funny thing is I'm in a coaching program myself, and the coach challenged us to be on a podcast. And I'm not kidding you. The next day, your message came through, and I go, "Is she on the same call as me?"
I wasn't.
I'm not kidding. He's like, build your brand, get it out there more, be available more, like just put yourself out there more on stuff like this. And then literally the next day, he messaged me.
Oh, well, what
I
a
love it.
slam dunk for both of us.
I thought for sure we were on. I asked you if we were.
That's awesome. Okay, so Kristi mentioned the themes that she saw, and the themes that I saw too were staying curious and staying consistent and having a willingness to test something before you judge it, which has just been so huge, especially for an overthinker to hear you say, Sean, it was impactful. And those habits matter so much more than any tool that you can use.
Yeah. So here's the theme. You guys know what I'm about. It's all about action. So I want you to take something from today. You spent the last, 50 minutes with us because we were laughing and having a good time. But I want you to pick one idea from this episode, and I want you to put it into motion. Not tomorrow, right? Today. And then we'd love to hear about it. Tag us on social media, text us, let me know. We want to see what you're building. We want to take part in the success that you're creating because you take action.
Yep. And if this episode helped you, send it to an agent who needs to hear it. I'm sure you might have thought of 1 or 2 or 5. And make sure that you're following Sean, Buy-in with Ryan, so that you can keep learning from the things that he's creating.
Sean, you've been with us. This episode's been fantastic. We have a tagline we end every episode with, and I'd like you to head us out. We've given them the ideas. Now they need to
run with them.
Excellent.
Is that what I'm supposed to do, or am I supposed to give some kind of wisdom at the end?
No, that's perfect.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
No, you've been awesome.